Hello, and welcome to the Weather-report. That was the chime. Now is the time for the Weather-report. Welcome, and thank you for joining me on my journey to visit and rate every Wetherspoons in the UK and Ireland, awarding them a wooden spoon, if you should give it a miss, or a silver spoon, if you should put it on your hit list. Please, if you're enjoying the podcast, please leave a review. It does help me very much. Also, if you have any thoughts at all on the podcast, email me at perrysoldspodooners@hotmail.com. With me, as always, is my faithful co-host Pepsi. Say hello, Pepsi. Well, these days you'll say hello. For those of you who don't know, Pepsi is an 8-year-old Jack Russell who has never been into a Wetherspoons, and I don't think he's aware that he's a co-host of this. Did you just say hello, Pepsi? Oh, bless you. I mean, it was quite growly. It was quite a bad first impression you've given to the listeners then. I think you just, I don't know, what was that? Anyway, on with the show. This week's Wetherspoons is the Crown Hotel Biggleswade. But first, we have Wetherspoons in the news. Oh, and before that, we have some Wether-report in the news. I am excited to announce that next week I will be reviewing our first airport Wetherspoons. Yes, I am going to be reviewing the windmill at Stansted. I will hopefully have enough time to do a quick review before my flight to Turkey. It was a holiday that Claire with and I booked before we split. A week all inclusive isn't something I would have chosen for my first solo holiday. Seeing the cable cars of Cologne would have been more my choice. Claire with and I would usually go to Greece. Would usually go to Greece, but decided to change it up this year. So much so, she left me for a local Greek street food seller, 20 years her senior. You could say he is her sugar Papadopoulos. The yearly trips to Greece are now making sense. And also, when Pepsi was coming back from staying with her, I had noticed he smelled slightly of tzatziki. It's all starting to make sense now. She did cheer quite loudly for Stavros flatly on Britain's Got Talent, and she called me a dirty old man for watching New Gladiators. And obviously, Jet will always be my favourite. Anyway, this isn't a Saturday night TV podcast. It's the Weather-report. Although, does anyone else find it strange that the new host of Deal or No Deal, Stephen Mullihan, a magician who can use his close-up magic skills to change the amount of money that's in the boxes? Something to think about there. Back to Wetherspoons in the news. We'll lead this week with the JJ Moons in Hornchurch won an award for its toilets. JJ Moons in High Street was given a platinum grading by Loo of the Year Awards 2024, the third highest ranking. The award aims to highlight and improve standards of public toilets across the UK. Inspectors make unannounced visits to thousands of toilets at sites across the country to judge them. Toilets are graded bronze, silver, gold, platinum, platinum plus, or diamond. Unacceptable toilets are not graded at all. So, well done to JJ Moons. I can only imagine what a diamond level toilet is. In all honesty, I think I'd be too intimidated to use a diamond level toilet. Next up, we have an article in The Sun. Sheila Dean, 35, and her pet Daisy, a Shih Tzu and Yorkshire Terrier cross known as a Snorky, was refused entry to the budget boozers. The OAP, who is a regular to Shane, said she was told all emotional support dogs are banned, despite claiming it's never been a problem previously. The incident took place at the Eric Bartholomew in Morecambe. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, what are your thoughts on this? I know in general dogs are barred, but what about emotional support dogs with certificates? I know dogs can be great emotional support. Not you, Pepsi. You tried to hump my leg while Claire with an eye was telling me she was leaving me. Um, and finally, San Miguel has been replaced in all Wetherspoons. It's been replaced by Poretti, or Poretti, an Italian lager. Um, the Wetherspoons website describes it as Poretti, or Poretti. It's probably going to be more pronounced Poretti, isn't it? Where did that come from? It's 4.8%, an Italian premium full flavoured lager characterised by pillory white head. Most lagers have a pillory white head. Brilliant clarity, polished golden colour. Is brewed by combining four hop varieties to produce a great tasting balance and bitterness. Brewing for over 140 years. The Poretti Brewing was founded in 1877 by Angelo Poretti in northern Italy, and it will cost around about $3.99 and $3.20 on Monday Club. What will you think? Will you miss San Miguel? I know I won't. I was never a fan. Drop me an email. Tell me what you think. Is the drink selection at Wetherspoons as good as it used to be? Or do you still think it's tipped up, an all-star lineup? What are your thoughts? Give me an email at perry'soldspooners@hotmail.com. And that was Wetherspoons in the news. Next up, the reviews of what other people thought of the Crown in Biggleswade. They appear to have two TripAdvisor accounts. One appears to be for the hotel, and the other appears to be for the pub itself. The overall score for the pub is 3 stars from 223 reviews on TripAdvisor. This seems to be the lowest score so far. And then 4 stars from 123 reviews for the hotel. And Google reviews has 4 stars from 1,470 reviews. Off the bat, we have Paul G with a terrible experience. A waitress named Olivia. So that's Oliver, but instead of a V, it's a W. Olivia? I'm sorry. So if that you're listening, Olivia, I'm very sorry. Seems to have a problem with my 3-year-old daughter and rudely and aggressively told her to move, even though it was the first time it happened. Massive attitude towards my wife and her friend from a member of staff that was supposed to be trained in customer service. Paul G there, unhappy with customer service, seems to think that the waitress wants to fight his 3-year-old. Next, we have Tim Diaff, who says, typical Wetherspoons, like a TARDIS. Small on the outside, but large on the inside. Lots of space and tables scattered around the building. Only popped in for breakfast as I was visiting the area. Service good and fast. So it seems Tim didn't Diaff have a good time there. Next, we have Roger K. He titled this as a crowning experience. I hope he means in the sense of a good achievement and not crowning in the birthing sense, as that would seem painful. Roger's review goes, Tanyana, aka Taz, was incredible. Right, so I will give the Crown something. They are able to employ the staff with the most unpronounceable names. Sorry, on with the review. Not only was she genuinely member of staff, she went above and beyond when obtaining a charging cable for my phone. She embodies everything that is great about British customer service and the pub experience. A delightful human being that sprinkles you with joy by simply being in her presence. The rest of the staff are a credit to Wetherspoons. I recommend this pub to all that wish to add some sunshine to their day, even cloudy, rainy British days. Thanks again, Taz. Roger, they're having a good time. I could make the obvious joke about Roger trying to Roger, but sounds like he had a lovely time by all accounts. This differs from Relax 20708075928 as experiences, who says, went out with the family for a few drinks and the management wouldn't stop staring, making us feel uncomfortable, and they are extremely rude and arrogant. So, real mixed bag of reviews there, mostly aimed at the rudeness and praise of the staff, and them wanting to fight a toddler. Now, let's see how I fared. I arrived in Biggleswade. It was a busy Saturday afternoon, and I struggled to find a place to park. I had to park on the big Sainsbury's near the edge of town. Found a route back to the town centre that was along a riverway by a field. It was a lovely walk. Went past some lovely houses situated on the other side of the river. Some of which had lovely gardens, and I was able to see into them. There's a lovely bit of voyeurism. I found Biggleswade to be a forgotten little market town, charming in its lack of charm. There was a market selling the usual market day tut, which you can usually buy in B&M and Poundland 7 days a week. The rise of the discount stores such as Poundland, B&M, the late Wilkinsons, really destroyed the allure of market day. Such as websites such as eBay destroyed the allure of a car boot. As you can now look at other people's unwanted goods online in the privacy of your own home without having to get up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to get down to a local football ground early, so the good bargains are snapped up by the resellers. Now, although I do point out Claire with an eye's bad points, there was some good traditions we had, getting up on a Sunday and taking Pepsi to a car boot, looking at the stalls, having a bacon roll, which was normally served in a baguette. I think after a breakup, this is the stuff you miss. The little routines, the habits. Also, she was a mean haggler. Once haggled a man down to £3 from 20 for a full-length Art Deco mirror. I was truly impressed. Anyway, I digress. I found the Crown Hotel situated centrally on what I would call the High Street. I think the locals would differ. The Crown Hotel in some ways felt like the crowning glory of Biggleswade. That in a lot of ways the locals were proud that they had a Wetherspoons. So they should. The front of building was rather grand, with a covered carriage entrance, which I recently discovered was called a porte cochere or a porte coquille to the rest of us, leading to a rather impressive outside courtyard seating area, which looked excellent to sit in during the summer. On the inside, I was rather unimpressed. Possibly it could have been that the outside had raised my expectations. There was close to the bar the usual collection of fruit machines, and this was something that drew my attention straight away. It was something about these particular fruit machines that I couldn't take my eye off. It was busy, and finding a table was somewhat of a struggle. I did eventually find a table, a booth, which could have easily seated 4+ people. I did feel a bit guilty, but I was soon easily forgot about it. The table was clear, it wasn't clean. A common theme I am noticing in Wetherspoons these days. Although my table did come with its own chandelier, with a dimmer switch which you could use to dim the lights based on how unattractive your date was compared to the Tinder pictures. It also had a USB charging port, so you could make sure your phone was charged just in case you had to make a quick escape. Now, on this occasion, I ordered via the app, as I was alone and it was busy. I could have left a coat at the table to mark my territory, but you can't guarantee someone won't just treat you as lost property and hand it in, and you end up walking back to the car cold and coatless. I ordered the shawarma chicken wrap with chips and a pint of, you guessed it, shipyard. My pint turned up in 4 minutes, which was surprising how busy they were. My food turned up around the 8-minute mark. Staff delivering the food and drink seemed indifferent to me, neither rude or overly friendly, as described in the reviews. Although I did see a member of staff squaring up to a 7-year-old in the courtyard outside. My wrap seemed small, so I checked the app to see which one I had ordered. Noticed that the shawarma wrap was now out of stock. So it became clear to me that what had happened, as I had been given the last of the tub of the shawarma filling, and the fresh tub probably hadn't been defrosted yet. Despite my wrap lacking girth, it was still tasty. The chips were hot and tasty. My shipyard was tasty as usual. The glass was clean, nothing major to report. Now, having finished my wrap, I would have it again, but next time I would like to have the full portion. It was time to inspect the toilets. From my location, they weren't too far. They were just up some stairs and down a corridor, but not far at all. I've neglected to mention that the Crown is a hotel. I've looked the rooms up. They do look very nice. Not that I can see any reason to stay in Biggleswade other than a wedding or a family visit. The toilets, they were very nice, although my toilet did have a leak, not onto the floor, but from the system into the bowl. So it was leaking into itself. Not great from an energy point of view, but or a view of saving water. The checklist was up to date. They were very clean, very modern. The sinks were like an oyster shell after it had been shook. Oysters are supposed to be an aphrodisiac. Clarice and I would gobble them down. Was about to say something about the only thing she gobbled, but no. We're better than that, aren't we, Pepsi? Now, I've neglected to mention that attached to the pub is a little shop, which isn't a little shop. This is where they store their real ales, and you can look through the window and see the barrels in action, which objectively seems fun, but actually is pretty boring. Just seems like an exercise to save space in the pub and possibly add another room and add to revenue. I feel like a better use of that space would have been to attach a Timpsons, where you could get a key cut or your shoes fixed while you have a pint. Did you know that the employees of Timpsons are criminals? Sorry, misphrased that. About 10% of Timpsons employees are ex-offenders, as the CEO believes in giving them a second chance. He's got a good soul, and not just on his feet. So, I digress again. Now, let us do some scores on the doors. Cleanliness, it was clean for the most part. Tables were cleared quickly, but there wasn't much wiping of tables from what I could see. Speed of my pint was 4 minutes. My lunch turned up at 8, which is all within the sub 10 minute target. Staff, as I said, I didn't have much interaction, but all seemed functional, friendly enough. Now the 3 T's, time to the toilet. It was probably about a 45-second walk from where I was to the toilets. They were clean, check sheet up to date, very nice leaky system, which was annoying at best. Food, the wrap itself was very nice, if not a little meagre in its portion. Would I have it again? Yeah, I would, yeah. Chips were hot, didn't burn my mouth, which is good, but they were hot. Value for drink, quality of drink, a shipyard. As always, excellent. So your cheapest pint would have been Ruddle's Best at £1.29, then Sharp's Doombar at £1.49, Abbott Ale £2.88 here, and then they had 3 guests on, which would be changing, so £2.63. So not bad on a real ale. Lagers, so the cheapest would be Bud Light at £1.99. Carlsberg is £2.77. Most expensive pint would be the Poretti. They also have Star Prama, £3.99 respectively for both. You can, I am mistaken, the cheapest pint would have been a Worthington's. Guinness here was £3.45. I think that's just the cheapest price for Guinness now. Cheapest cider, we are looking at £1.99 for Stowford Press. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to award the Crown a silver spoon. Decent surroundings, decent staff, decent food and drink. So worth a visit if you're in the area. Definitely go. Now, it is time for your letters in Letter Spoons. This week we have a sack-busting 3 emails. I am aware that there is a new Wetherspoons news, and I will read it this week and give you a selection of my favourite articles next week. My first email... by the way, if you do want to be on Letter Spoons, please email me at perrysOldSpooners@hotmail.com. So the first email this week comes from Mick D in Newcastle. He writes, Dear Perry, I won't do the accent. Dear Perry, I'm enjoying the podcast, but every week you read emails out from people who tell you who they'd like to go for a drink with. I tell you who I don't want to go for a drink with, and that is my boss. But it's Christmas and we're going to the Five Swans. Well, there you go. Well, all the best, Mick D. I hope you have a lovely evening. It's nice that you set aside your differences to share a pint with your boss at Christmas. I don't know who I wouldn't want to take for a drink. Yes I do. But for the sake of a podcast, I'll say Stalin. Welcome to the club, Mick D. You're now a POS, Perry's Old Spooner. Next up, we have Wendy with an I. She writes, Dear Perry, I am very much enjoying your podcast. I have always been a fan of Wetherspoons and feel that they offer great value. I would very much like to, although I know it is impossible now, to take Prince to the Prince Arthur in Fleet for a jug of purple rain. Oh, very good. I like this one very much. Wendy Whitney goes on to say, failing that, I would settle for taking Perry McGann, I'm flattered, to the Perry Tree in Birmingham. Love to Pepsi, Wendy Whitney. Oh, Wendy, you do make me blush. Although I have just checked, and the Perry Tree has closed permanently, so unfortunately, it's unlikely to happen. I did sit next to a Wendy with an eye in Mrs. Reese's RE classes. I wonder if it's the same Wendy. Anyway, thank you very much for your email, and welcome to the club, you big old POS. The final email today comes from LES, who would like to take Patricia Routledge to the Winter Gardens in Harrogate for a glass of Prosecco. Patricia Routledge, famous, of course, for playing Hyacinth Bucket, so Bouquet. Do we think that Hyacinth would be too posh to go to a Wetherspoons? Thank you for your email, Ellie, and welcome to the club, you big old POS. If you'd like to be a POS like Mike D, Wendy with an I, LES, email me at perrysOldSpooners@hotmail.com. But unfortunately, this is the end. Our time has come to spoon. And I'll speak to you spoonly. Now, Pepsi, if you could actually say goodnight this time, that would be great. And the squeaky voice I do for you is a bit of a... You've killed the mystique of that now, haven't you? Anyway, good night from me. And I'll talk to you next time.